There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Little roller up along first. Behind the see you, Pittsburgh. Can't wait. All the baby is out on the field. He's going to go in the end zone. Looking, throwing in the end zone.
You're tuned into Game On with Josh Silverberg and Erik Bowe. Talking all things sports. It's
Game on! Yeah, game on!
Game On, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Happy Thursday to all of you. This is Game On Live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, brought to you by, of course, WSRN. As always, check us out, worldwidesportsradio.com, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Job and Mouth have their own TikTok, and so much more. Well, we've switched roles this week. I am now I'm on. Erik is off. He's on the phone, but he will be off at 7. So if we have to go a little bit over, I will finish it up. Understandably so. He has things to do. That is A-okay.
Technology, when it works, is the best. Technology, when it doesn't work, it's kind of a nuisance, kind of annoying. Just going to throw it out there.
Well, I view it as, listen, it is what it is, and we will make things work. Of course, Speedy Petey on the board. Speedy, how are you, my friend? Everything good?
Getting a bunch of texts from Snug, as I was before.
I really, honestly, if Snug has nothing nice to say, then don't say it at all. That's how I view it, and I'm going to leave it at that. Lots to get into. We're going to give our Week 2 picks. We'll recap Week 1 of the NFL, and then an unbelievable game tonight. Who would have thought on Thursday night? Packers, my son Caleb's new favorite team, the Green Bay Packers, and the Washington Commanders. And everything like that. We'll get into that. We'll touch a little bit on the baseball. It's been a debacle here in New York, at least. We know one team is going to make the playoffs. We're not sure about the other, and it's the one that's surprising. But it's, this is where we're at, and everything like that. And then, of course, we'll finish up with You're better than that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Obviously, we know what today is, and it really is it's a very crazy, surreal thing to think about that. It's been 24 years since that crazy morning of 9/11, 2001 happened, where I'm not even counting the hijackers, where 2,977 people lost their lives. By the way, if you have ever, my wife and I went a couple of years ago, if you ever have the chance to go to the museum in the city and the memorial where the fountain is, where the towers used to be, I highly recommend it. My wife and I, we were there for, probably there for like 2.5 hours. We were in there. Like, it was crazy. We saw like one of the fire trucks that was on display that was used in the during that moment. And my parents, they met in the World Trade Center. Actually, it's crazy. They met there. And my father, he was outside when he was working in the city. He saw the second plane hit, and it's really crazy. It's interesting when you think about the perspective of what it is today. Because like I said, a lot of kids, they didn't. Obviously they were not around for that. We were in. I was in 5th grade. Eric, I believe you were in 6th grade or
Fifth.
5th grade too.
Yep.
So, Speedy, you were a wee little bitty, weren't you?
Years old.
Yep. So, I remember it very fondly, very well. I remember teachers were going on the school buses home with us, and it was a very interesting dynamic because I'm thinking to myself, why is this happening? Why is this a thing? And then we get home, we watch the news, and we're seeing everything happen. And we don't hear from my father, who's in Manhattan, a couple miles away from the World Trade Center. We don't hear from him. He doesn't get home until I think 8:00 at night. During the night, I believe he walked one of the bridges to get over. It was a mess. No service. Everything was out. It was just a surreal moment that I think we need to put more of an I think we do a lot, but I think it's crazy that I feel like with a lot of kids not like I said, I don't know if they learn about it or not, but it needs to be put more of an emphasis into it. I mean, that changed everything, right? Like that changed how we travel in airports. That changed how we felt walking around in the world as we knew it at that moment. Everything just changed on a whim from that moment. And then living on Long Island, Eric, I know you lived out in Suffolk. I lived out in Nassau. So for us, we got the smell of it a couple of days later out where we were. And, you of course, our thoughts and prayers are always with those families and the moments. And then you see every year they read the names of family members that read the names of those. You think of there's so many key moments. Like you look back in the Super Bowl where U2 is singing "Where the Streets Have No Name," and there have in the background you have all the names of those that passed. You think sports being stopped for a very long time, and again, this is not me being a Met fan, but Eric, I think you could agree with this. The moment everybody remembers, especially in New York, with the moment was Mike Piazza hitting the home run at Shea Stadium or Steve 𝐼𝐸 against the Braves. And it just kind of it was an enlightening, feel-good, together moment where we're back. We could, do what we want to do again. We're not going to let this shut everything down, our life down. We can't let it, everything of that nature. Then, of course, everything going on. The World Series with George Bush, that year with the pitch, with the Yankees and the Diamondbacks, and it was just, like I said, always the moment I harp back on sports wise, and even today now. Look at today, there are people that are still feeling the effects and having illnesses from that day, where it's still an issue for those that are having health conditions and everything of that nature. But again, the moment for me, sports wise, that I always remember, because again, other than COVID in 2020, they felt like the world shut down kind of on 9/11 for a couple of days, and nothing happened since then. But the moment that I always remember, like I said, is Mike Piazza hitting that home run. And it gave New York fans a moment to cheer. And finally, next year, Major League Baseball on the 25th anniversary is having the Mets play the Yankees at Yankee Stadium next year. And I think that long overdue. Very long overdue, I should say. I know I'll give my sister-in-law credit where she felt the last couple of years, she's like, they should have been playing each other every single year on the anniversary of 9/11. It's crazy that they never did, and this is the first time. And like I said, to have, like I said, for me, it was just stressful because, again, you don't hear from I didn't hear from my father. But again, my family has the history of that's where my parents met. You know what I mean? That's, and again, if you've never been to the museum, the memorial in Manhattan, I very much recommend you going. It's an emotional roller coaster. You're going to see so many things in there that you wouldn't even know from videos of that day on the news channels to the history, even for going back to the 90s, I believe the bombings in the garages from years before, to they talk about bin Laden in the museum. But then you see like the fire truck that has still all the stuff on it. There's pieces of the building that are put that you see in there. Dog collars from rescue dogs that are shown, and it really it hits you, and you think to yourself, and you say, "Wow, this is really." Because you think of that time and the moment and everything. To me, I thought, like I said, that it was very important to bring this up today. And everything that I know what's going on in this country, in this world today, and there's just wars, people, getting shot. Wars are happening all over this world, and it just feels like the world hasn't gotten any better. But again, the thoughts and prayers of all of us, and the condolences to those families. Obviously, that cannot bring anybody back. And you feel for those that are ill now. I mean, just think those people were waking up that morning. I believe it was a Monday morning. Any fateful Monday morning, going to work, and they, wrong place, wrong time. And you wouldn't think that, loved ones saying goodbye that morning, see you later, and then they don't come home, and it's just a really just a mind-numbing thing that happens. But Erik, your thoughts on what you remember from that day, and just the craziness.
Sharing that story about your parents and stuff. I had no idea your dad was there and stuff. That's crazy. That definitely hits home.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad he was all good, able to make it and get home. And it's gonna be a scary feeling for sure.
No, we didn't hear. There was no signal, no service. Everything was shut down.
Yeah. And just thinking back, we're in grade school, and one by one, it seemed like each student was getting called to go home. One by one, and it was just like, what's going on, right? You're in school, you're not really in front of the TV for the news and whatever else. So you're kind of getting bits and pieces here and there of everything going on, and it was just, you get home, you see everything that's going on. It was surreal at the time. It thinking back now that it's been, like you said, 24 years ago, is absolutely mind-boggling and crazy to me, right? Because I still remember it feeling like it was yesterday, right? And I'm sure many people feel that way, and it's a shame. It was a dark time.
And people are still feeling it today. There are still people that are sick, that are getting sick from this.
Exactly. It's I don't know. I feel like everyone should be able to get along.
It's
in the times. So it's crazy. It's
like I
crazy.
said, of course. And I brought up the thing with the sports show. Because being a sports show, I mean, I know, like I said, you're a Yankee fan, but I think you would agree that
was the
right,
Piazza home run.
the Piazza home run. That's the one you remember.
That definitely hit home. No pun intended. And then the other one was, like you said, there was I feel like no more of an iconic signature moment in sports than when former President Bush threw out the first pitch there.
Sure, and then you remember also the NFL shut down for a little bit.
Yep.
The NFL shut down, and then when they came back, the Jets had, I believe, a Monday night game. Vinny Testaverde talked about it on a special. Vinny Testaverde was like, "Geez, we have to play a football game after." I mean, it's just, it's wild. I mean, it's really
The devastation.
I just think the one big one that sticks with everybody is the Piazza one. Now, I'm not saying it's bigger than the Bush one, of course. I'm not saying that. I think what makes the Piazza one special was it was the first day of sports being back. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what makes it. You had Liza Minnelli singing "God Bless America" and Jay Payton hugging her during this. Like that's the part where it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? Piazza. It was the first sporting event in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And Shea Stadium was sold out that night. People were not scared to go out. Shea Stadium was sold out. The Mets were they didn't make the playoffs, but they were in a playoff race. Remember that? They were in the playoff hunt in 2001. I remember Bruce Chen started that game. Really, you know what I mean? I remember they had at Shea Stadium, they had Bobby Valentine was leading the charge at Shea Stadium. They were using the stadium as like a welcoming center for families and others that need a break and food breaks and different things like that for the, the NYPD and the FDNY to come and bring things and everything like that. And, you just look back and, yeah.
You gotta give incredible job to all the municipalities, doing everything that they can that day too.
Of course. I mean, you're thinking you're just going to a regular day of 9 to 5, regular day. Next thing you know, you're being called in the line of duty to go save people from a ginormous, from the tallest building in the world, and trying to get them out, and you don't know if you're coming out alive or not.
That was the other part that I remember vividly, sports wise, were the Mets and Yankees hats, with the FDNY PD, and phenomenal. That was almost rightfully so to see, I guess.
Yeah, and I think them playing next year on the 25th anniversary, I think it's completely long overdue. I think this should have been done, like I said, a while ago. Better late than never, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we just wanted to reminisce on that. We're gonna get through the sports. Erik has to leave soon, so we'll get into the recap of NFL Week 1. So we'll transition. We'll do our best to segue, but we will. But to looking back at Week 1, the recaps that we see. It's crazy, right? And it's crazy. Like,
so I've got a question for you, Josh.
My son has a new favorite team,
and it involves that new team of his.
Ah, man.
I just want to know: is the Packers defense that good?
Yes.
Or did the Lions just have that much growing pains to do with the new system in place?
I think it's a mix of both. You have to remember that the Packers last year were the 5th best defense in football. Now you had a top 3 or 4 defensive player in the league, and Micah Parsons, who, by the way, did a great job stopping the run, by the way. Just, throw it in there. Did a great job with that. To me, I think, but you also see what the offense can do for Green Bay. Like you see Jordan Love looked comfortable in the pocket. The line was great. Jacobs had a good game. Golden didn't even do that much in his debut. Dobbs but again, and I said this on the show last week, Tucker Kraft, man, that guy's going to be a top 5, especially. By the way, my dearest sympathies to you about George Kittle, because I know you were raving about drafting him, and that stinks. Only I get the good years out of him, I guess.
Should have traded you. Well, good.
Oh, well, listen, it is what it is. It sucks. But to me,
let's just say Hunter Henry, I think, will have a good game against Miami.
I love Hunter Henry, man. Speedy knows that, right? Speedo. You know,
That's his boy. He wanted the Jets to sign so badly 4 years ago.
I gotta tell you, man, I'd still with. Well, actually, no. Actually, Jeremy Rucker made some. We'll get to the Jets a little bit. Jeremy Rucker actually made some catches this week. It was great to watch. No, Tucker Kraft is going to be a top 4 tight end in this league, top 5. I think he's going to be that good. I think he really is going to. They have a balanced Green Bay now, which is what I think is what's needed. And now what they have is on the defensive side, they have a player that is. What is that clicking sound? Is that you, Eric? Okay. What is that? Do you hear that too? It sounds like somebody's eating something.
I hear something.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's eating something. But to me, I love how Eric's like in his little screen in this dark room. It's like the funniest thing. There you go. It's worse. No, I'm just kidding. No, but they have a good balance. Green Bay. I think that's that's what you're going to see from them. They have a huge test tonight against Washington, which I know that's going to be one of the games Speedy's going to give us. I think Detroit's going to go through something that Philly went through a couple years ago, where a couple of years ago, see, he exited out. See that, Speedy? He exited out. It was him. To me, and Speedy, you remember this a couple years ago when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl and they lost, and all the coaches left, right? You remember? And basically, Sirianni was like, I'm going to hire from within. It was a mitigated disaster. They had to hire veteran coaches like Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. It worked. Then Campbell's going to have to go through that this year. He hired John Moore as offensive coordinator. Very different style, I think, than Ben Johnson. Would you agree with that one? Speedy, I would say they're a little bit different styles, per se.
Yeah, and it just wasn't good enough, like with the motion and stuff.
Well, it didn't make sense that they hired. Well, Campbell probably would have hired Engstrom, right, as his OC, but right, Glenn took him first. That's the other thing too. Is a lot of the assistants went with the Jets and the Bears. So to me, I think that's well, that's to me. I mean, listen, but I mean, there's a lot of things there that I saw. How bad are the Miami Dolphins, by the way? They are horrific.
Terrible.
They are awful, the Dolphins. They're so bad. Eric, what were you, really quick before we get to the Dolphins, what were your last thoughts on the you think it's going to be a mix of both with the Packers and the Lions, or do you think the Lions will get through it? Just take time to adjust because John Moore is a very different OC than Ben Johnson.
All right. First, do you still hear the clicking when I talk, or is it only when you talk?
Yes, you are clicking.
It was you clicking. My phone didn't click. My phone did not click last week. I'm just saying.
It's unbelievable.
This guy with technology, it's terrible. But
you gotta
go on.
You gotta go out.
No, here he did. I think, didn't he?
Yes, I'll try it one more time.
All right, he's leaving again. All right, so I guess we get to the Dolphins now. The Miami Dolphins are absolutely putrid. They are probably one of the absolute worst teams in the NFL. They are a mess. Mike McDaniel is going to be let go probably. When would you say, Speedy? I would say end of September, early October is when McDaniel's let go.
Bad it gets. You got to see how bad it gets first. Like the Dolphins kind of stuck in.
Do you think it's going to get better, or do you think it's going to get worse?
I think it's mediocrity for the Dolphins. I don't think it's going to be like so bad where they're going to fire him in the first month of the season.
Are you sure about that? Because I thought they made Daniel Jones look like Joe Namath out there, or Joe Montana.
Fair enough, but still, that also.
They scored. Did you know they scored on every possession?
Yep.
In that game.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Horrible. Why is Erik frozen?
Because he's, I think, trying to rejoin on.
Okay. To me, I view the whole thing as I think the Dolphins. I mean, you want me to tell you what my brother said as a Dolphins fan? Here. He said the Dolphins are so bad. They could be right up there with the Saints for the worst team in the league.
Agreed.
Really? That bad, huh?
Yeah. Hill's
Agreed.
quit. He quit. Tua stinks. The O-line is awful. The defense is terrible. The coaching staff's a mess. They've completely quit on McDaniel. He has no control of this team. Am I right? Tell me when to stop.
Tua, listen, great guy and all, but should Tua still be the quarterback after last year?
No, I think they're gonna have to,
especially when
rebuild.
Do they not have a top 5 running back in the league right now?
𝐬𝐿, yeah, I would trade him.
They not have a Tyreek Hill who, when he's on the field and has a quarterback to throw him the ball and a rapport, we see what he can do. The defense is still a little shaky and suspect to say the very least.
Shaky. They let Daniel Jones score every drive in that game.
That's what I'm saying. But the window for the Dolphins closed really quick. It seems like it's closed, but the window's locked too, which is even crazier, right? The defense is terrible. The offense can't get out of their own way. You worry about Tua taking one more hit. The whole thing is a mess. Tyreek Hill doesn't want to be there, as you can see, and whatever else. He's got other
named captain. What does that tell you?
Yep.
But they still they don't want to trade him. They don't want to trade him. It makes no sense. And also, why would you want to trade for him anyway?
So they're going to be a team that I agree is going to be a basement dweller this year itself too, right? Kind of right up there with the Saints. Who knows? The Giants could be in that same category.
No. The Giants will win.
It's an overreaction from week 1. But yeah. Josh, there's 2 games that really stuck out to me this week. I'll let you touch on the one between the Jets and Steelers, and I'll go with the Baltimore Bills game.
Yeah, I will touch on it stinks. But I've said this many times. I said this is not an overnight project. This is gonna take time. There's a lot of ugliness in this and a lot of stank, as they say, in this organization right now that Aaron Glenn is going to need to clean up. You saw it on Sunday. Quincy Williams with the late hit. Xavier Gibson with the muff punt return, and he got cut. But I've said before, I think the Jets are going to get 5 wins this year, right? But I've also said, okay, they could have 5 wins, but are they? If they're in every single game like they were against Pittsburgh the other day, to me I think that's a culture changer, because then people are going to start to see, like it happened with Detroit, right? Where Campbell, I think how many wins did Campbell win his first year? Was it 3 or 4?
4. I think it was 4.
It was 4 wins, but they were in every single game. And that made the players believe, and it changed the culture, and people started to see a kind of a shift. With the Jets, it's the same thing. It's who was the better team Sunday, the Jets or the Steelers? It was the Jets, right? The Jets were the better team. Rodgers had 4 touchdowns. Congratulations, that's great. What I didn't understand was also Aaron Rodgers' comment at the end of the game, basically saying it felt good to beat every single person in the organization for the New York Jets, when, meanwhile, Gooberhead should understand that this is the same organization that gave his best friend, Randall Cobb, who was 6 years past his prime, a salary, or also overpaid Alan Lazard to be here, or hired Nathaniel Hackett, who is a hack, no pun intended.
Traded for Devontae Adams.
They gave him everything, and he's upset because they made him fly to New York, to tell him we don't want you. When in all actuality, Aaron Rodgers in the past has said, "I like to talk face to face. I don't like to do a phone conversation." So in the end, the Jets kind of did what they wanted him to do. And then he threw kind of a parting shot today about Garrett Wilson, basically saying how DK studies all the time. He knows the routes. He knows everything like that. Not everybody in the league does that. Wink, wink. I think he was pointing at Garrett Wilson, and we know how ugly it ended with Garrett Wilson. The report was he wanted to be traded if Aaron Rodgers came back. And they haven't spoken since Rodgers left. This is also the same guy that also threw Mike Williams completely under the bus. And everything of that nature. Rodgers had a nice game. But
how about the Jets?
Let's call it like it is. The Jets gave, I mean, they also lost on a 60-yard field goal. That's what I mean. What do you want them to do? They played great. The offense was honestly, the Jets lost. That might have been the most fun Jet game I've watched in probably 10 years. That was the most fun game.
I mean,
and they still have a good defense. They just got some things to clean up. But, like I said, I like Justin Fields, man. He was great. He balled.
Josh, it was one game, and the offense looked a million times better than their last game last year.
Well, because
right?
they actually have real coaches. They have real coaching. Coaching is a big deal. When you have a Nathaniel Hackett and a Jeff Ulbrich, that's going to be, you're going to get what you deserve.
They
trash.
Well, you know who else is very well coached, Josh?
The Buffalo Bills
and the Baltimore Ravens. I tell you, that was a game.
I have a lot to say about the Ravens. I know we have to get to our picks quick for your league,
but I'm just saying, like that was a great game. The 2-point conversions, I thought, were really going to shoot the Bills in the foot, and kind of hurt themselves with it. But Baltimore kind of let up a little bit, let up. Buffalo kept the foot on the pedal. It was a tale of two halves. The first half, no one could tackle Derrick Henry, right? And then it kind of seemed like Baltimore got away from that game plan slightly, right? A little bit more Justice Hill, a little more RPOs with Lamar running, not so much getting the passing game involved so much, except for Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers had a great game, but they started to feel too one-dimensional, right? Buffalo comes back down 15, scores. The Derrick Henry fumble was huge. He doesn't fumble that ball, they win the game. There's no way to sugarcoat that at all, right? That was the momentum killer right there. That was everything. Just hold on to the ball, they win that game. No one's talking about a 1-point loss, obviously. So that was a tough. I do see both teams making it pretty far in the playoffs. Obviously, without getting too ahead of ourselves, I still think the cream of the crop is Green Bay and Baltimore.
I picked Green Bay to win the Super Bowl this year. You picked Buffalo to beat Baltimore. No, you picked Baltimore last week. I picked Buffalo. How were the picks last week, Speedy? Let's get to those quick.
I don't have the standings right now. I will find them for you over time.
Right.
But
we'll count for week 1 and week 2 together on next week's show.
Yeah, no, I'll get them both for you then. Let's just
I want another week to get my record a little bit better when we go.
I can tell you, who did you pick last week? What'd you pick? You picked Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did you pick? I don't remember what the other games were. So
we definitely picked the Eagles.
Yeah, you guys picked that game. You guys did the Steelers Jets. You guys did Texans Rams, I believe.
I lost the Texans Rams game. Jeez.
Game again.
Freaking CJ Stroud, man. What the heck?
Not his fault.
Dude, I know. But the guy, he didn't look comfortable still either way.
No. What do we have? What about picks this week?
Let's do like 2 or 3 games before Erik has to run, because he's not going to make you better than that tonight.
Am I better than that is me?
Yeah, that's right. There it is. He said it.
It might be your. I was going to say it might be your phone connection tonight.
Speedy, what's game 1? What do we got?
All right, let's start with tonight's game. Commanders and the Packers.
Yeah, man.
That's mean. That's mean. Go ahead.
What did he say?
He said
that's mean.
That's mean.
Oh,
Start off that way. I like it though. Listen, you have a tough Green Bay defense who
mhm.
you saw really stifled Detroit. Jameer Gibbs, 10 receptions, but not much on
Didn't
the
do
ground
anything.
game,
Didn't do
right?
anything, and
It
it's
makes you worry, makes you wonder, is Bill, Ja'Cory, um, Krosky Merritt, is he going to do something tonight? They're talking about trying to get him the ball more. You'll see Eckler, I'm sure, come out of the backfield, catch those dump passes, try to open the field up a little bit more. I still think Terry is still going to get his feet wet from this year, from missing all the preseason games and whatever else that way. Uh, I do think this game is more competitive than the Packers-Lions, but I'm still rolling with the big cheese there. Give me the Packers in this one by at least 6.
Yeah, I like the Packers in this one too. I was going to pick them regardless. I mean, Washington's a really good team. I still have questions with them a little bit defensively. I think there's still some pieces they're trying to put together. McLaurin missed a lot of training camp. Debo's still there. Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks in football. I'm very curious how they handle the mobile quarterback because they've had problems in the past with the mobile athletic quarterbacks, Green Bay. I mean, Justin Fields gave them fits at times when he was in Chicago. So I'll stick with Green Bay in this one. I don't think they're home. It's a short week, so that's why I would give them the advantage. If it was in Washington, I would give Washington the advantage, but I'll go with Green Bay. Eric, you have to run now at 7:00.
We got one more. Come on, I got one more, Coach.
All right, we'll go to the Super Bowl rematch. The Eagles at the Chiefs. The Chiefs 1.5 point favorites over under.
Go
46.
first, Eric, and then you could sign off.
I don't understand that, to be honest. I don't understand the Chiefs being 1 point favorites, especially their lackluster performance against the Chargers last week, right? I don't know. I don't see that. I would take that all day. Give me Philadelphia. Saquon's going to do Saquon things, right? The push tush is going to happen a little bit more itself. The defense of the Eagles, you saw what they did against the Chiefs. Chiefs had no answers. Now the Chiefs are probably without what? Xavier Worthy?
No, he's
No
playing.
right?
He's
He's
playing.
playing? But
Hey,
how
they put
well
a
can he?
brace on him.
It's going to be interesting, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he's gonna be using
break your
it.
motion with your shoulder and everything with that.
I don't know.
I'm still wary with that, right?
Hollywood Brown. Get a lot of Hollywood Brown in there.
Isaiah Pacheco, still getting back to it.
Yeah.
He'll be the difference maker if he's able to do Isaiah Pacheco things and be who he is and really kind of help expand the offense more because they can't load the box. They can't have 2 safeties. They can't do the things that the Eagles defense like to do. Even still, though, I can't see it. I think the Eagles are the superior team, and they'll show it.
All right. Well, Eric, we'll let you. We'll let you run. Go do what you got to do. It is 7:01 now, so go do what you got to do.
I'm going to end it with a Eric, you technology, you Thursdays, you co-host wise.
No, stop it.
Come on.
I'll see you this
You
weekend.
better- Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. I apologize for the technical difficulties.
Nah, dude. Don't worry. No
but
stress.
next week, we're back. Don't keep it locked. Tune in. Josh, thank you. Speedy, thank you.
We'll talk to you, man. Later, bro.
Going, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Eric Bowe signing off for the evening. Speedy, if you want to come in now to the camera, so I'm not just talking to myself.
Sure.
Awesome. There you go. Okay. So, all right. So he went with the Eagles. I'll go with the Eagles. I don't know. What do you think, Speedy? What was it? 1.5 Chiefs?
Chiefs 1.5 favorites, even like
Which
you
is
said,
so
with
weird,
Xavier
right?
Worthy.
Yeah, I'll go with the Eagles too. I know it's boring, but I don't see how the Chiefs beat them. But again, aren't Chiefs home now?
They are.
Something tells me the Chiefs are going to sneak and win this game. I don't know why. Give me the Chiefs. I'll be different. You be unique.
All right.
All right. Any more games we got, Speedy? Or what? You want to do one more and you want to represent Eric's pick?
All right. I'll represent Eric's pick. I'll go with let's go with the Sunday night game. We'll go with the Falcons and the Vikings, battle of 2 young quarterbacks. I know you're a big fan of Michael Penix as a quarterback.
He played well last. It wasn't his fault.
I'm not saying it was his
Who missed the freaking kick, man?
Yeah, they could not. So they'll be taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I'm actually going to take Atlanta in this one to represent Eric's pick. 3.5-point favorites. I think it's a tight, low-scoring game, but Vikings on a short week. I'll say Atlanta bounces back.
I understand that with the whole short week on the travel, and I completely get that. But to me, I think McCarthy is feeling himself after that fourth quarter. I know it was not a great start. It was a disaster. But also, was it an outlier? Was it more Chicago just completely collapsed? Or did McCarthy take advantage and something happened? We're going to find out Sunday night. I feel so bad picking against my boy, my guy, man. Penix, man. It's my guy, you know. He will be good. I think he's going to be good. I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think they finish us. I think the defense is going to hold tight. So I'll go with the Vikings. Do you want to do any more? Are we good? Want to do one more?
I think we'll stick with
just Bills?
I have the Bills by 8. I think it's a high-scoring game, tight game, but I think the Bills still win.
Yeah, the Bills winning. Okay.
High-scoring game. I think the Jets will keep it close. I don't think
there's something I don't know what it is, and I'm gonna be an idiot and drink the Kool-Aid, but I feel like the Jets could pull this one out. Because I feel like Buffalo's riding so high right now, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, we did it. We came back. We won. Sunday Night Football, we did. But then it's like, but also the Jets always play Josh Allen tough. Like that's always been the thing. I'll take the Jets in this one, as weird as that is. But that is our football pick of the week.
Drink the Kool-Aid. You're bringing back Weapons Hot references on this show.
Oh my God! Well,
I
wonder what those guys are doing now, man. But yeah, I know it was a quick show tonight, but that is it for our show. Speedy, appreciate you, of course. Quick baseball notes. Will the Mets collapse and not make the playoffs?
I think they'll still make it, but I think they'll first round exit.
See, I don't think they're going to beat the Dodgers if they play the Dodgers. He said that to you too.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I want to believe it. Unless the Dodgers keep getting hurt at the end of the year, I want to believe.
I think the advantage you can have is that McClain, Tongue, and Sproat have never faced the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's possible.
So I think that could throw guys off.
Fair enough.
I don't know, man. Did the Giants? I don't think any of them played today, right? They're all off. So only the Mets played today. And I know you're going to the Met game Saturday. I might go to the Met game tomorrow. I don't know yet. I'm deciding.
The Jacob DeGrom. Yes.
You know, the Grom. If I would bring my son with me, but that's like how crowded is it going to be on a Friday night? But the Grom pitching, is it going to be a madhouse? Like, am I not even going to be able to get a hot dog? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it worth the hassle?
Get a hot dog.
I don't know. Let me tell you. So we went. Quick story before we wrap it up. We went Speed. You know, I went on that $5 Wednesday or whatever that day is. Let me tell you, man. I got my kid a hot dog, a popcorn bucket, a kid's chicken fingers. It's about, I think the whole and like a soda for like $25.
Wow,
it's insane. And I'm like, no wonder why everybody goes to $5 Wednesdays. And I even got a beer for $5. How about that?
There you go. Yeah, you don't see that anymore.
Oh, do you have any better than that before we wrap it up?
Yeah, basically, the whole celebrations that have gone across the NFL, that there were some definitely some odd ones. The Colts guy, Cam Bynum, had a weird one too. It looked like he was just like basically doing a moonwalk gone badly. So that was a weird one. It looked like he had like things in his pants, basically.
Yeah. Tell you what, for me, it could be that the WrestleMania announcement, I believe WrestleMania 43 was announced for Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I saw that on your Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel bad for London. They're so overdue for something. WWE, you're better than that. Seriously, come on. Really? You're taking that event from us? So you get 2 years in a row in Vegas and then Saudi Arabia? Come on.
Jeez.
Come on. Check us out on worldsportsradio.com, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Job and the Mouth have their own TikTok. And you can check out Job and the Mouth on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30. You can check out Summit in the morning. And, of course, we can crunch with Arrow and Speedy on 103.9 FM on Saturdays at 7 o'clock. Speedy, thank you so much. I'm sorry we were late, fans. We apologize for the inconvenience, but we still made it. Hopefully we'll get better. Enjoy the football game tonight. That's a great game. That is a great game tonight, man. Sheesh. Have fun with football this weekend. Speedy, I'm telling you right now, if the Giants start Jackson Dart next week on Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs, it is going to be a disaster.
I don't think they're going to start them that early, so it's not.
Listen, you have to remember whose jobs are on the line.
I know, but I don't think it's going to be week 3. I think it'll be week 6.
Whose jobs are on the line?
Everybody's pretty much. I know.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be very wary. Very wary. We'll talk to you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Be good. Enjoy your sports. Thank you so much. This has been Game On Live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.